Hey y'all, it's Lola the Manager, your new favorite project manager, tech junkie, and entrepreneur. Welcome back to season 2 of Life as a Project Manager. I know. Let me just address the elephant in the room. Y'all probably like, Lola, why y'all dressed up? Because I can. I'm going outside today, so I had to go get dressed, come and do this video because business happens first, and then I can go outside. Now that we got that out of the way, a few weeks ago, I showed you how to build your project management portfolio. If you haven't watched it, please go take your talents to that video and pop a squat. Today, I'm tackling something even more fundamental than your portfolio. It is the holy grail of all grails. Your resume is your first impression, and for PMs, it needs to showcase impact, not just responsibilities. Most PM resumes that I've had the opportunity to review list what they did, not what they achieved. And yes, that is different. Today, I'm walking you through exactly how to structure your PM resume using Google Docs, what to include, how to write achievement-focused bullets, and at the end, I'll share my resume template from Etsy that you can customize with your own experience. You ready? Let's ride. Before we dive into the tutorial, understand that PM resumes are different from other roles. You're not a developer showing technical skills or a designer showing creativity. You're showing your ability to deliver results through people, processes, and strategy. What hiring managers are looking for in PM resumes are measurable impact and outcomes, project scope and complexity, cross-functional collaboration, problem solving and leadership, and relevant methodologies and tools. Your resume needs to prove you can manage projects that deliver business value, not just that you know how to use project management software. I also want to add some discourse when it comes to getting resumes reviewed. I've had people ask me, hey, can you review my resume? Can you provide resume revisions? That's great and all. Feel free to send me an email and I will do that at a cost. But that's not what this is. This is not a shameless plug to get resumes sent to my email for me to get paid. No, it's not that. We need to have an honest conversation about resumes. Every industry and role has different resume requirements. And I feel like when you're working with a recruiter or people who revise resumes, their goal is to make sure that your resume is structured in a certain format where it looks good. So you may go to a recruiter that says, hey, move the education to the bottom or add your certifications to the top. That right there, that's not necessarily what I'm focusing on when I talk about resume reviews. As a PM, and honestly, in no matter what industry you're in, you should also have someone in that industry that has the job title that you want to review your resume. You guys have seen me post videos where I go on interviews and I record the behind the scenes. But I also posted a video at the beginning of this season where I had 10 months of interviews where every month I interviewed. At the baseline, that means that the resume that I'm putting out there is getting me a call for interviews. So I believe that my resume meets whatever qualification is necessary as far as structure, but it also meets whatever is necessary for content. This tutorial that I'm about to go into is going to do a combination of the both. But I want you to know that when you go to different people, you may hear different things. Hey, you need to switch this up. Hey, that's not a good idea. Take the meat and spit out the bone. I don't want people coming in the comments to say things like,
Lola told me to do this and it didn't work.
Or such and such told me to do this and it didn't work. Everyone is different. But what I can attest is that video where I made, I'm posting it right here on the screen, where I had 10 months of interviews. Every month I interviewed for project roles. I used this resume the entire time. I'm doing something right. So we're gonna jump into the tutorial. We're gonna get into the weeds. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about structure, but we're also gonna talk about content, what to focus on. I'm not gonna give you a resume where I did it all for you. No, you need to go back and do some work. But I want you to know what type of information you should have there. That's why at the end, you will see the template where the baseline is set up for you. The guidelines are set up for you. You just got to go in and do your big one. Alrighty, it is time to get into our resume tutorial. We are starting on a blank canvas and we're going to build this brick by brick. But remember, I do have a template available in my Etsy shop and I'll share those details later in the video. So right now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. So quick overview, this is Google Docs As long as you have a free Gmail account, a free Google account, you have access to Google Docs. So for those that followed along for the portfolio template, you had access to Google in order to do that portfolio. Same access applies here to Google Docs. The reason why I chose Google Docs for us to use to build out this resume is because it's very user friendly and it's something that you can take with you wherever you are. You do not need to take a device where you are. As long as you have your login credentials, you can log into any computer and be able to access this and make whatever edits you may need to make. And I believe you have the capability of downloading Google Docs app on your device and making edits there as well. So at the top of every resume, it starts with your name and then your credentials. So I would always say use credentials that is beneficial to the role. So PMP is a major certification that is essential to this role. And technically it would actually come before any degree that I have that's not an MBA. So right now I have a bachelor's degree. Cool. I have a master's degree, but it's in education. And then right now I'm in school to get my MBA. I'll eventually add that. So right now, all I'm adding is my name, my credentials, and then I'll probably move this to the center. Now, I do want to add my email, my phone number, my LinkedIn, portfolio, maybe not my phone number, but I do want to add some personal stuff. So I want to create a line break. Up here is our taskbar, and so we'll be here pretty often. We're going to insert a horizontal line, not a page break, right? This is going to take you to another page. We just want to add that line here. It's a lot of formatting that goes on. And so since this is, let's make that 14. Here, I'm going to put my location, right? So right now I'm in Tampa, Florida, USA. You could put wherever you are. Let's do that. Or I can actually probably write it out. Never know what system I'm in. And then I can put what else I need. paul@email.com. Then I would put my LinkedIn, right? I'd put the LinkedIn in the Word portfolio, but all I'm going to do is hyperlink it, right? So if you have a Mac, you can just click Command K. If you don't, then you can click this insert link button here, right? And so when I click it, .linkedin.com. And then for same with Google Sites, link it, sites.google.com. Perfect. We're done here. Let's move over. We have our headline set up for us. And now we want to add maybe a professional summary. We can move this to the center. Bold that, move it up a font. And here in that professional summary, this is where you're going to write 3 to 5 impactful sentences, right? So we don't need a whole spiel. Some companies don't even want this section set up. What we want to focus on is job title, years of experience, key industries. And so I could say certified project manager with 8 years experience in digital transformation projects and software implementations, right? So that's the big gist of what you're about to get all the way down here. I could include maybe a professional achievement that I've had. So worked with Fortune 100 companies or Fortune 500 companies on enterprise projects with budgets as large as $500,000 or $500 million, right? And kind of go into like the weeds with that. But we want to keep it to like the 3 most relevant skills and expertise, right? We need to keep it powerful, but it definitely has to be brief. It can't be something that is wordy with a lot of jargon. We want to make sure we're using strong adjectives and specific numbers. So I would put something like this, and I'm copying and pasting this from one of my resumes, and it reads, results-driven project manager with 5+ years of experience leading cross-functional teams across technology, marketing, and business transformation initiatives. So here we see job title, we see years of experience, we see industries right here. Proven expertise in stakeholder management, budget oversight, and operational efficiency optimization with emergent implementation and AI integration capabilities. Brag sheet. We're talking about an achievement here. Successfully managed concurrent projects ranging from $50K to $2 million across diverse industries. Expert in driving business outcomes through structured project management approaches, team leadership, and process improvement initiatives. Now, you're probably like, Lola, I'm just gonna copy this. Don't do that. At the end of this, I will show you a hack that no one else is talking about and how you can help formulate this language. But this is 3 sentences. It says a lot in a short amount of time. Now, can I live without this? Absolutely. Some people don't even have that. You don't need it. But remember, this resume is not something the average person is bringing in. This is a role that is borderline leadership. So you kind of set the playing field for who you are and what you've done. Our next phase is going to be skills. There's some bare minimum skills that I feel like you should have listed, or bare minimum categories. There are additional categories you can add, but you build that based on what works for you. So those are your project management tools or any type of tools and technology that you use, right? They are your methodologies. So are you the person that does Agile Scrum and, sprint processes and stuff like that, process improvement, or, are you traditional, or do you have a mix of them all? And then lastly, you'd add your core competencies within project management. So do you know change management? Do you know risk mitigation or risk management, stakeholder management, right? Some other areas you may want to add, right, would be any type of technical capabilities. So, a lot of tech projects. So I like it to be known that I have experience in these type of system integrations, API configurations, and all these other type of technical skills, because I do like to do a lot of technical work. I may want to highlight different type of business operations. It really just kind of the company and what the role is looking for. So you may want to highlight that. You may want to highlight leadership, team management. And these are things that I feel like they also help with getting past the applicant tracking system, because this is the language that you typically see in the job descriptions. And so we're kind of figuring out a way to put them on the resume where it makes sense. Now, you see, I have a lot of categories here. All these categories may not be applicable to you, or they may cause your resume to be too long. Resume should be about 1 to 2 pages, unless you are doing some type of leadership role where it requires you to have a little more of a heavier lift of a resume. Then you can go into the 3s and 4s from what I've seen. And I've submitted resumes that are 3 pages with no issue. It all kind of depends on what you're showcasing on there. So if at any point you're like, dang, I need to cut from the resume, I would cut immediately these 2. And then if anything, I try to mesh these 2. I can just have 3. I definitely feel like if you can separate it into 3, it won't become overstimulating, right? But it's good to kind of have these skills listed, tools and technology. What project management tools are you familiar with? And then what technology are you familiar with organizational wide, right? Then methodologies, as stated, traditional, waterfall, agile, scrum. You can go ahead and put Kanban. You can go ahead and put lean, or what's the other one? You can put Lean Six Sigma. You can put extreme programming, right? So highlight whatever it is that you know how to do. Then we go into the next section, and we want to, first we'll do it like on the page. These breaks are essential to ensure that we're not giving you too much at once. So here I want to go into my certifications and education. Okay, so when it comes to certifications, we're definitely going to highlight the format that we're going to do is certification name and then the expiration date. So for me, I have my project management professional. Ooh. And I actually just renewed. So it actually expires October 2028. Now, I don't need that there. Let's go ahead and move. Move you down. Cool. Now, other certifications that you may want to include, let's say, one of the things that I've been in was the IBM cybersecurity professionals, or there's also the Google project management certification, right? And so I could put December 2029 or 28. We just want to create some type of alignment, 2028. And then here it could be November 2028. Not bad. We like to put, some language. Sorry for this is what you get for doing stuff in real time. But if not now, then when? There we go. I do want you to know that on the resume template, it is all formatted. We go ahead, we increase that. And so just focus on active certifications only that will be expiring soon. If there is an expiration date, then don't put anything there. Or you can put no expiration date. It's really up to you. Then we have education. And here this is where we're going to list the school name, the degree major, and the graduation year, month, and date. So the cool thing about this is I can actually show you how I would add my actual education. So right now, currently at school, getting master's in business administration, and graduation date is May 2027. I think that's done. I think it's expected. So there's several ways I could put this. I could put August 2025 to then. That lets you know that I'm currently in school. Or I can put expected graduation, and I put May 27. That was not 27. Prefer probably the whole thing out. Don't want to leave no room for error. And then for the school that I already completed, and though I have a bachelor's and master's already, the master's wouldn't be necessarily essential here. Honestly, even the bachelor's, I can't remember, it's the bachelor's in like something, sociology, social science. I typically just put year because y'all don't really need to know anything. And I may not even put the month. I might just put 2020. I can do that, right? Boom. Very basic, nothing major. And then we jump into inserting another line. All right, we are already almost done with the first part. And sometimes I do want to say that I would probably italicize the degree only to just go to since these are connected, right? So I might do that. Now we get to the part where we talk about experience. So I do have a framework that I use for posting, and then I'm gonna put that, but I just want to kind of show what it looks like. Start with my company name, right? So we're gonna call it, right now I'm looking at my Stanley Cup, so we're gonna call it Stanley. And my position / title is a project manager. Not IT, not marketing, it just says project manager. And then the start and end dates, I would just put, let's say we were there, let's say 2024 to present. Okay. So here we have that set up, either italicized to kind of show a little connection, but a distinction at the same time. So we want to start with key achievement using numbers, right? So led X projects, managed Y team, achieved XZ results. So I led 10 digital transformation projects or 10 platform development projects. I managed a team of 14 engineers, developers, business analysts, and vendors to achieve 45% increased transactions. And so here, all our bullet points are focused on the result of this project that I led. This is why you can't stay behind the scenes and not know the purpose of this project. What is, in the grand scheme of things, where does this project fall? Like, the successful completion of this project will bring us more money. Is it designed to bring us more money? Is it designed to make us more efficient? Is it designed to save us money? What is it supposed to do? There has to be some type of business impact, and it can be an enterprise-wide type of impact, a departmental impact, an internal team, external customers, users. Like, what is that? And so our bullet points are going to use action verbs. So an action verb is a word that describes something you did, right? So you modernized. You might say modernized, right? That's something you do. Action means you do, you take action. We could say something like reimagined, right? We could say something like managed. Very simple. We could switch it up and say coordinated. These are action verbs. Verbs that things that we're doing. We probably optimized, or we resolved, right? So think of these type of words. These are kind of like how your how your resume bullet points should start, right? And if you notice, they're all in like past tense. Even if you're currently there, that's what you did. Okay, past tense it. You can use words like implemented, orchestrated, facilitated, right? I hope you're making note of these words, right? Or it can be something as basic as led, delivered. What's another one? I'm pulling these directly from my resume. Executed. Not the most recent resume, but one of the ones I used before. So these words should be all over your resume somewhere. If you're not starting with action words, get back to the drawing board. I just gave you a list to work with. I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If we list 3 jobs, then we should have at least 4, right? We can be using 4 different ones per jobs for the bullet points. Now I need you to include metrics where possible. Okay. So one of the things that I always talk about is that project where it was like migration project from Avaya to Cisco, right? So we were switching phone providers, but I like to talk about this project because it was significant as far as how it impacted the enterprise organization and how it functions. It definitely was digital transformation is type projects, but the budget was large scale. I wasn't dealing with a couple dollars. I was dealing with millions, right? A lot of different departments. And so I made sure that I included numbers, right? And numbers can be money, numbers can be people, numbers can be percentages. So here it's like directed $1 million plus enterprise transformation, managing 20 department migrations from legacy Avaya to Cisco UCCE platform, ensuring minimal business disruption. It's a lot of words. Some of them might be too big for Elmo, but but you see here, we see metrics on metrics. Okay, we're talking about this amount of money, this amount of departments, and we barely had any disruption within the business. Okay. Another one, I talk about that job that was a catfish where what they thought they needed isn't what we actually did. And so here I talk about it where I say manage cross-platform integration project coordinating Salesforce, DocuSign, and SharePoint systems to create automated workflow that doubled first week completion rates from 40% to 80%. Whatever I did here with my management, I was able to create something new that somehow increased completion rates. Even if you have no idea what I'm talking about, when you read this, I'm the one that has something to do with this number being changed. So then the test of time would be when I'm in the interview, can you speak to what you wrote about? Or did you use AI to write it? Or did you pay someone to write it? You get what I'm saying? And then let's see if I can find one more. This is, and do you guys see the verbs, the action verbs here? So even I don't play with that. And then let's see, where's another one? Hold on, I think I have this right. Hee-hoo. Man. Manage high value project portfolio, overseeing 25 to 30 concurrent marketing campaigns with budgets ranging from $500K to $2 million, consistently delivering projects on time and within budget. So here, one of the main things I wanted to call out is how many projects I'm working on at a time and the cost of them. So this actually was a marketing role, a marketing PM role. So in that space, that dynamic, there are constant projects happening at once, sometimes way more than what a traditional company, IT department, whatever would have. But I wanted to call that out, and I wanted to call out the numbers, because a lot of times as a PM, you may not actually be dealing with numbers. You may not be dealing with the money. You may just be dealing with the project. The money is handled by another department. Even if you're not dealing with the money, listen in on those calls and meetings where they talk about how the money was impacted, right? I'm at a company right now where they just did a town hall and talked about how they reached $200 million in revenue. How did your project contribute to the $200 million in revenue that they have just gotten before the year's end? You get what I'm saying? You need to start asking those questions and paying attention. This has to be some type of high value for you guys to give me this much money to manage in a short amount of time. On top of that, another thing to highlight, look at that action word. I don't play by my action words, okay? So include that wherever you can. These metrics, right? So we're looking at money, we're looking at improvements from 1% to another. It doesn't even have to be a significant percentage. Any type of percent, just add it. If it's not major, right, you can say from 40% to 80%. Let's say you don't know what it was, just say the ending part, like completion rates of 80%, right? Because you don't have nothing to compare it to. If you don't know the exact number, do a guesstimate, right? If I'm saying it's a $1 million project, 20 departments, how much is it if we had to break this down? 1 million divided by 20. Okay, that's probably like what, 50,000 each? Yes, that's probably about 50,000 each, or 100,000 each. I can't think at the top of my head. Forgive me. This is not a math class. It's project management. But you get what I'm saying. Like, figure out what those metrics are. Then we're going to focus on achievements versus duties. We're not going to say something like, I scheduled meetings, created PowerPoints. That's cute. That's you listing the task that you did. But what did you achieve, right? Like, I need you to give me a little more. That might look like, let's see, my nonprofit. Let me add that in here. This actually has metrics in there. Delivered high impact e-commerce solutions, managing complete website platform implementations that achieved above industry conversion rates, including technical development and payment integration, right? This gives you a lot of meat. I achieved something that a lot of people may not have done. And how do we know that? Because it's in above industry conversion rates, right? So this is obviously attached to marketing, not the same marketing PM role, but this is attached to marketing and consulting. And the industry conversion rates for going to a website and actually making a purchase obviously is less than what was accomplished at the time of this. Okay. Another one, and then we go right back. Let's not forget, we still see those action verbs. Let's see if we can find another one. We could add, so this is a cool one that I did as an ITPM because it uses language that we see now in a lot of descriptions. Coordinated AI chatbot deployment, managing testing and go live phases for a Microsoft conversational AI solution that automated student inquiry processes, improving response times. That's an accomplishment, right? I coordinated a deployment, right? Which pretty much says that I managed the project of the people that were building this chatbot. But if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have got it done. And then if it wasn't for this actual project, this chatbot solution, we wouldn't be able to improve response times from student inquiries, right? And again, we see that action verb. Let me see if I can find one more. This one, for those that know, I worked behind the scenes as a creative project manager for Render ATL back in 2024. And so I was contracted to do some work for them. And I wrote about it in my resume where I talk about how I coordinated large-scale event management for Render ATL Tech Conference, directing creative operations workflows, and design asset management while maintaining strict brand guidelines. So I was creative ops team, and here is where the meat and potatoes was me managing all the designs and graphics that you saw everywhere, whether it was a billboard, whether it was a social media ad. Well, I don't think it was social media ads, but whether it was a billboard, whether it was the shirts, right? Y'all see that in a few of my profile pictures. I have Zillow's. It says it's a pink shirt and has Zillow as one of the sponsors. That was from one of Render's. That was from the Render conference. And so on top of that design asset management, we also had to come up with certain workflows for how we're going to see some of these designs and assets. So like just how when you go to a venue or you go to an event, the direction and ways in which you have to kind of navigate the space, there's going to need to be signs. So we're kind of creating that workflow of how this is going to operate, how are our guests going to navigate this experience. So I was also part of coordinating that as well. And so I achieved something that a lot of people may not be able to do, right? And I was just one PM. There were others. There were PMs way bigger and over more than what I was doing. But this is how I kind of captured that accomplishment or achievement. And again, we see action verbs. Now we get to highlight leadership, technical skills, and results, right? So we've kind of done some of that here, right? We've kind of done some of that here. And then what we want to highlight next is ways in which we can see that you're a leader. It doesn't have to say the word leader, but if there's ways that we can see that you were a leader, then yes, highlight that. And one of the like buzzwords that we use to kind of show that is the word led, right? So if you can say led and then you tell us what you did, we can tell like, oh yeah, this is a leader here. So one of the consulting roles that I had, I was able to show that I led project management practice, managing and mentoring junior project managers while overseeing 30 plus strategic initiatives across 20 plus businesses in diverse industries, right? We see that word led. We see how there's managing and mentoring of other project managers, junior project managers. We see how there's oversight into strategic initiatives, not projects, right? And then we see how this impacts different business industries, right? So that's one. Another we have is Oh, these are for the people that transfer from, not transfer, people that transitioned from education to project management. This is a good one for you because I put this on mine. Led digital transformation, implementing Google Classroom for flipped classroom methodology, developing instructional video content, and automating assessment systems that enhance student engagement. So here, a lot of the roles, they're not asking about my role as a teacher when I was an educator, but I like to kind of show how I was able to transform how we taught to better impact the students, and then how that works with the projects that I get to lead, where we're transforming business operations and efficiency, right? Another one I could talk about is, let's see, where else did I lead? This is at another organization. Led innovative design sprint initiatives, managing college intern teams to deliver enterprise technology solutions, including data visualization dashboard and mobile app prototype. So key things here, you see I talk about led, right? Then you also see like the scope of what I was doing as a leader, right? So I'm mentoring younger folks. You see that here with junior PMs. You see that college intern teams. You see that I do have some type of technical skill set because I have the ability to implement this type of methodology and technology into the learning, into the learning environment. And then also, I don't think I highlighted the results of those different initiatives, but if I posted one thing here from metrics and then one thing here from achievements, then I'll be able to also post one thing here. So then we have at least 3 bullet points where I was able to kind of talk about the results. But I do kind of highlight the results here where it says the enhanced student engagement. I talk about the different type of solutions that we were able to deliver. And then I also talk about the different initiatives and the diverse business industries. So when we say 3 bullets, make sure it starts with one of these, but then also make sure that you're giving us meat and not just the bones. Now, from there, you can do, I would say, all the roles that are one of one, like they directly equal what. Why is it doing that? That's so weird that we have all these red lines. Sorry, that's bothering me. Focus on adding all the roles that directly connect to the PM role. Then after you knock that out, if there's still space and you need to add other roles, then add that, and then we come back and make edits. After that, well, that's honestly the entire resume. The only other thing that I would add that's a little different, like if you did volunteer work, I would do another page break, and then I would call it, what is it? Professional community engagement, right? Use this as a way to highlight volunteer work. And here it's the same format. You just want to put the company name, right? So let's say it's with Meta, or let's say it's with a local organization in the community. And you did that from 2020 to 2021. You were the program manager, or I gotta switch line. You were the program manager. And from there, that's where I want you to write about the program. Here's where a youth workforce development program for middle school students through web development or mobile app development, right? And then get into it. What were you doing? Who were you leading? What was the impact? All that stuff. Don't get into the weeds. Just kind of showcase that. But I would only talk about this if the volunteer work aligns with the real work, right? So volunteer unpaid, put that down here. Anything that's paid, even if it's an internship, put it here. And just like that, you've completed the entire resume. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that in-depth, detailed tutorial of how to set up your PM resume. But let's go into some common PM resume mistakes that you might want to avoid. Now, I've had the opportunity to review a lot of different PM resumes, and here are some of the biggest mistakes that I've seen. Listing responsibilities instead of achievements. Responsible for managing projects. You see these air quotes? That's how insane they look. That's how insane you sound. Because it tells me nothing about what you actually accomplished. No quantifiable results. If every bullet point is vague with no numbers, I don't know if you actually effective. If I keep it 1,000 with you. Too much jargon. Using acronyms and jargon without context makes your resume hard to understand. I need you to act as if the reader of this resume does not even know what project management is. Never worked at the company you worked at before. Never even heard of it. How would you position your resume then? Irrelevant information. Your high school job from 10 plus years ago doesn't belong on your PM resume. Let's take a step away from the past. Keep it current, keep it recent, and keep it relevant. Typos and grammatical errors. As a PM, attention to detail is critical. Errors suggest you're careless. And who would want a careless PM running the show, managing the project? Not I. Generic objective statements. Seeking a challenging position where I can grow adds no value. Everybody wants to grow. I would assume. Let me not assume. But everyone wants to grow. Each experience is actually designed to help you grow. You should be growing as you move from this job to this job to this job. Give me a little more meat. And it's so funny that I say that because I don't eat meat. But give me a little something, you feel me? And lastly, listing every project you've touched. How about no? Let's focus on significant projects with measurable impact, not every small task. I also want to park here just a little bit. You might be with a company, whether it's contract, full-time salary, whatever the case is, and you may be working on a variety of projects all the time, or you may have been brought on for one specific project. When you're brought on for that one specific project, that's when I really need you to get into the weeds and give me the meat and potatoes and metrics and value and impact of that project. But in those roles where you're managing multiple projects over time, one, you're either going to highlight a super significant high value project, or I want you to highlight how the projects that you've worked on as a whole has impacted business. You saw, we talked about that in the tutorial, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I just wanted to park here where, no, do not tell me all 47 projects that you worked on while working at Google. Are you okay? No. But if you want to highlight those major ones that were brought up in the news that cost multi-million dollars, that type of stuff, yes, call that out. Now, here's one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the discourse surrounding editing your resume and adjusting it per job application. I'm here to tell you right now, it's not happening. Not for me, not for me. Everybody has their own opinion. As far as mine, I am not doing it for every role. And the reason why is I curate real specific resumes. So I may have an IT PM focused one, a technical PM focused one, a marketing PM focused one, an EdTech PM focused one. You see, what I'm highlighting are the main type of projects that I've worked on and skill sets that I have. So when I'm applying to PM roles, I'm applying to those PM roles that link well with each resume. It's either IT PM, Tech PM, Ed Tech PM, Marketing PM. You understand? And this is why I don't just look at the job title. I make sure I do in-depth analysis of the description and what's being asked. What are they really looking for? What do they want? Because the title might just say project manager, but once I get into the weeds of the description, this is actually on the marketing operations team. You're actually looking for a digital project manager, or you're looking for a creative project manager. You're looking for a marketing project manager. I know which resume to use that best highlights what they're looking for. And I also apply to a lot of jobs all the time. So I'm always looking for work, even when I got work. Y'all not gonna hold me hostage. I know what economy we live in. We could get laid off today. So I'm always applying to jobs. I'm always seeing what's going on. I'm always making sure that I interview, keeping my ears to the streets. You get what I'm saying? But with that, I make sure that I curate my resume so I'm applying to those jobs that the resume best suits. If I were to adjust my resume for every single job that I've applied to, I have no words. I'd be an old lady. I don't have time for that. I'm gonna always reference that episode where I talked about the 10 months of interviews. I did not switch up my resumes. I had my batch of resumes that's ready to be pushed out, and it's only going to go to the roles where, based on the description and my analysis of this role, this resume works. So with me getting a call for a business analyst PM job, or me getting a call for a Salesforce product manager, that resume that I had actually aligned with the description. It may not have aligned with the title, but it aligned with the description. And we could probably do a different video down the line where I go into the weeds of how to assess and analyze job descriptions. Let me know in the comments if you actually want that. But yeah, I just want to preface that I'm not out here making 47 resumes for 47 different jobs. Immediately no. I've seen what I needed to see. Go ahead and log out for me. Now, as promised, if you want to skip all the formatting work and get straight to showcasing your experience, I have a PM resume template available on my Etsy shop right now. It's the exact structure I use, pre-formatted and ready for you to customize with your own achievements. The template includes all the sections I showed you today, formatted professionally with achievement-focused bullet points. Examples that you can adapt to your own experience. And here's the best part. I always have sales running on my Etsy shop, but for a limited time only, you can use the code YouTube to get an additional 25% off this specific product until December 31st, 2025. And of course, I had to do this only for my YouTube community, so no one else knows this code. Don't tell nobody. You can find the template in my Etsy shop, which is all linked in the description. So when it comes to this job searching and PM life, what is the biggest challenge that you have been facing when it comes to your resume? Let me know in the comments. Who knows, that might be my next video. So far, I've showed you 2 essential documents that can help level up your job search: the resume and the portfolio. Paired together, you get into that interview, they have no choice but to hire you. You can tell them I said that. Your resume is your marketing document. It's your flyer. It is the ad that makes us want to purchase. It needs to sell your impact, not just list your duties. So take the time to make it achievement focused and quantifiable. So after you leave that comment and then you slid to the Etsy shop to grab that template, go ahead and join our free Discord community where you are surrounded by project managers just like you who are either entry level, transitioning, or they've been in the game for a little minute now. Here is where I share jobs in the US and internationally, as well as internships in the US and internationally that are solely PM focused. I also have transitional roles where these are PM adjacent and they help you transition into the PM world a little more seamlessly. You can also ask us any questions that you have about any topic. We also provide resources on certifications, courses, and everything in between. And I'm honored to be in there, and I can't wait for you to join us. Be sure to follow me at Lola the Manager on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, where you can get some PM insights, but also you can just keep up with the kid. Next week, I'm breaking down the difference between IT project managers and technical project managers. Another PM terminology episode you do not want to miss. As always, thank you for being here. You can be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me getting professional development, and I love that for you. Until next time.